Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about the newest releases from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Of course, it's the highlighter in collaboration with Amrezy and the Soft Glam palette. I ordered both of these items from the Anastasia website. They are not available in stores yet. The rumor online is that they will be in stores in March. As I find more information, I will update in the description box, so keep an eye out there. For now, I don't know what the exact dates are. All of their collaborations have been limited edition items up to this point, so I assume that this one will also be limited. I'm not going to talk too much about the highlighter. I really want to focus on the palette, but I did want to let you know that this has a huge amount of product. There's 9 grams in here. This retails for $28. It has really pretty outer packaging. There is a nice size mirror in there as well. This highlighter is a beautiful, soft, champagne gold. I do see this flattering a lot of different skin tones. Very smooth, it applied super easily, and it definitely gives off a pretty intense glow, but it's not glittery at all. It doesn't look like a metallic stripe down the face. I am somebody that tends to like a more soft, lit from within, kind of radiant highlighter, and this one is bright, it's poppin', but it's not overwhelming. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. This is totally worth the 28 bucks in my opinion. If you're on the fence, my vote is yes. Yes, that's my vote. Now let's talk about the Soft Glam palette. The Soft Glam palette is very similar to her sister, the Modern Renaissance palette. I don't have the Subculture palette, so I can't compare them. That color palette just didn't appeal to me, but these are right up my alley. I can tell you that these are very similar in packaging. They have that velvety outer packaging. Both are magnetic closures. There's a nice big mirror in here. This also comes with a dual-ended brush. I don't love the brushes that come in these palettes, but I also don't hate them. As far as brush included with palettes go, these are pretty good. This is probably just a personal thing, but I really love that the top folds all the way back so that you can hold it in your hand like this. I just find that so useful. Does anybody else love that? Leave a comment, let me know. Just like the Modern Renaissance, there are 14 eyeshadow shades in here. The Soft Glam has 8 mattes. There's one satiny shadow, this one tempera, which also appears in the Modern Renaissance palette, and the rest are shimmers. There are 3 shadows in the Soft Glam palette that also appear in the Modern Renaissance. So tempera, which I already mentioned, and then burnt orange and cypress umber. Out of the 14 shades in this Soft Glam palette, only 7 are new. So aside from the 3 that already appear in the Modern Renaissance palette, there are 4 additional shades that are available as single shadows from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Those shades are Dusty Rose, Orange Soda, Sienna, and Noir, which means the 7 new shades that are appearing in this palette are Glistening, Fairy, Rose Pink, Rustic, Sultry, Bronze, and Mulberry. Did I get all 7? Of course, I am wearing this palette on my eyes today, so I will be showing you a quick tutorial on how I got this look using the Soft Glam palette. But first, let's do some swatches. I'm going to be showing you both finger and brush swatches using the palette. I'll be swatching on the back of my hand with no primer. The finger swatches will be on top, and then the brush swatches will be below. For my brush swatches, I'll be using my e.l.f. flat eyeshadow brush, and I'll clean off the brush in between each shade using my Veramona color switch. First up, we have Tempera. This is the satiny white shade. Next is Glistening, which is a really interesting warm gold. It comes off just a little bit paler in swatch than it looks in the pan. Next we have Orange Soda, which is a matte. This one is called Rose Pink. It is a super soft, super pigmented, gorgeous shimmery pink. I am wearing this one today, and I really love this shade. Here's the next round of swatches, and I'll just remind you that these are the finger swatches and these are the brush swatches. This first shade, which is absolutely stunning, is called Sultry. It's kind of a reddish, purplish, brownish. I don't really know how to describe it other than it's freaking gorgeous. Next up is a shade called Bronze, which is a bronzy gold. It definitely has a yellow gold tinge to it. Next up we have a couple of mattes. This first one is called Mulberry, and I do think that this looks more brown in swatch and it looks more reddish in the pan, so just be aware of that. Another matte, this is a mauve shade called Dusty Rose. Lastly here we have the shade called Fairy, which is a very Pale Gold Shimmer. Here are the last 5 shades in the palette. These are all matte shades. And I mean, look at these freaking brush swatches. They look exactly like the finger swatches. I think the brush swatch on the black shade looks even better than the finger swatch. It's ridiculous. First, we have a medium orange shade called Burnt Orange. Next, a gorgeous deep brownish brick red called Sienna. This next one is called Rustic. It's a warm medium brown. Then we have a slightly deeper, slightly more cool toned brown. This is Cypress Umber. And lastly, of course, a matte black. This one is called Noir. Now that you've seen the swatches, I'm going to jump into the tutorial and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts at the end. I'm starting like I always do with my all-time favorite eye base. It's the MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly. Then I'm going to set that eye base using the shade Tempera from the Soft Glam palette. Just going to sweep that all over my lid and then I'm going to go into my crease color. I'm starting with Burnt Orange, and as you saw from the swatches, these are super pigmented, so I'm just putting a teeny tiny bit on a fluffy brush and then really working that through my crease and along the outer part of my eyelid as well. Then I'm going to start to add in another shade. I'm taking Rustic, and I'm going to build that more towards the outer half of my eye and also into my crease as well. Again with a fluffy brush, just taking a little bit of that eyeshadow and then taking my time to work it in so that it's all nicely blended out. I'm going to go back into Burnt Orange now and I'm just going to quickly dust a little bit of that on the outer half of my lash line. Then I'm going to use the shade Orange Soda on a pencil brush and I'm going to use that to blend out the first shade along my entire lower lash line. Now I'm going to go in with Mulberry and I'm using a really dense flat brush and I'm packing that Mulberry shade on the very outer part of my lid and just slightly working it into the crease. Then I'll take a clean fluffy brush and blend all the edges together with no product for a nice smooth finish. Now I'm going to apply the shade Rose Pink using my pinky finger. I'm just going to tap that on the inner part of my eyelid. Then I'm going to go over with the shade Sultry, also on my finger, and I'm going to pat that right in the center of my lid where Mulberry and Rose Pink meet. Then I wanted to kick up that pink just a little bit more, so I took another layer of Rose Pink and brightened up that inner part of my eye. I am going to use an inner corner shade as well. I'm using a little dense detail brush and taking the shade Glistening right around that inner part of my eye. And I dragged that glistening shade just a little bit on the lower and upper lids as well. Then I curled my lashes and added a little L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara. And this is my finished look. Soft Glam is the perfect name for this palette. It's beautiful, it's feminine, and it's definitely glamorous. I've got to say, I love this palette. I know I'm going to continue to use it. I'm going to continue to love it. But you may be surprised to hear me say I don't think this is going to be right for everyone. I know it looks so gorgeous. Just hear me out. First of all, these eyeshadows are very soft. They swatch like a dream. They apply so well with a brush. And for those of you wondering, I did not get a ton of kick up when I used a brush on this palette. This is what my palette looks like after a few swatchings and 2 eyeshadow applications. So you can see it's not crazy dirty. There's no big holes in the shadows. It's holding up pretty well. With that being said, these shadows are super soft, super buttery, super pigmented, and those are all things that we as beauty lovers, especially in the YouTube community, we love those things about eyeshadow palettes, but I think that those descriptors usually spell out not beginner friendly. Because these shades are super pigmented, super buttery, it means that you get a high color payoff and that they're very easy to blend, but that also means that it's pretty easy to go too far too quickly, and if you blend them together too much, then you can start to muddle the colors. So don't take that as me knocking this palette, because like I said, I like this. I don't think it's right for super beginner eyeshadow appliers. Does that even make sense? I do find that the Soft Glam palette is just a teeny tiny bit softer in texture as far as the eyeshadows go compared to my Modern Renaissance palette. But if you were somebody that just couldn't get on board with this color scheme, I know a lot of people, this was too red, maybe there were too many cool tones, too many mattes. If you really wanted to be a part of the hype of this, but it just wasn't quite there for you, then Soft Glam is probably the answer. Personally, I love both, so. I know, you know, Anastasia, Norvina, they all know. This is a neutral palette. This is not really a groundbreaking color palette, and that's what it's meant to be. Norvina has said this was meant to be for bridal glam, and when you think about it, this is really something that was missing in the Anastasia line because their palettes have been very color driven, a lot more out of the box color scheme wise. So this palette does fill in some of the blanks as far as the entire ABH line is concerned. So if you're thinking, this palette's basic, I have these shades, yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. So that's kind of my 2 cents on this palette. I think it's great. I love it. I'm gonna get tons of use out of it, but I recognize that it's probably not right for everyone. I would love to hear your thoughts on this palette. Is this on your wish list? Are you living for it? Can you live without it? Leave a comment and let us know. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. What are we talking about? Limited edition matte. I'll update. Why can't I say that? Update. I'll update the description box. Update that. Just get your awkwardness out now. Oh, I should have lit my candle. It would look so pretty with those flowers. Well, it's too late now. I can't have it like halfway through the video. Like suddenly there's a magic candle in the background. Also, FYI, if you don't follow me on Instagram, what are you doing with your life? Because I just posted this picture yesterday as soon as my Soft Glam palette came. Whenever I get new makeup, especially stuff that I'm really excited about, the first thing I do is come up here and take pictures. And I posted this picture, which I am in love with. And these roses that my husband gave me for Valentine's Day are in the picture too. So just go be my friend on Instagram. Don't even think about it. There's a link down there. Go and click it. I'm never the person that's like, subscribe, turn on notifications, like this video, like blah, blah, blah. Go follow me on Twitter. I never say that. But I hang out on Instagram all the time. So if you want to hang out with me, come hang out with me on Instagram. That's all I'm saying. Or don't, whatever. You do you. They're so pretty. Don't do that. My hair looks a hot ratchet mess today. You can judge me if you want to. I'm comfortable with it. I think that's all I got.